China to take active measures at their port to prevent its fishing fleets from encroaching into our territorial sea and EEZ. The Philippines is ready to take law enforcement measures on legal fishing activities in its waters.
Mga idol at kabayan, Pilipinas nanindigan at ipinakita na hindi tayo natitinag o natatakot sa China. Matapos tanggalin ng China ang fishing ban, libo-libong Chinese fishing vessel ang naglayag sa karagatan ng South China Sea. Pero agad namang naglabas ang Department of Foreign Affairs ng Pilipinas na hindi kinikilala ng bansa ang fishing ban na ipinapataw ng China taon-taon sa mga katubigang sakop natin. Pangalawa, kapag merong mga Chinese fishing vessel na magtatangkang pumasok sa territorial sea at exclusive economic zone ng Pilipinas, babala ng Department of Foreign Affairs sa China. Ipapatupad ng Pilipinas ang batas sa iligal na aktibidad ng pangingisda ito sa katubigan ng bansa. Yan ang balitang ating pag-uusapan dito lang sa Good News Philippines. Huwag kalimutang i-like ang video, mag-subscribe. Mabilis lang ito, promise! Matapos tanggalin ng China ang fishing ban nito sa South China Sea, kita ang muling pagbabalik ng halos nasa 10,000 mga Chinese fishing vessel sa lugar. Agad namang nagbabala ang Pilipinas sa China sa pamamagitan ng isang pahayag. Ayon sa Department of Foreign Affairs, hindi kinikilala ng Pilipinas ang pagpataw ng China ng fishing ban sa mga nasasakupan ng Pilipinas tuwing ika-1 ng Mayo hanggang ika-16 ng Mayo ng Agosto taon-taon. Dagdag pa dito, sinabi ng Department of Foreign Affairs na hinihimok nito ang China na gumawa ng aksyon upang maiwasang ang mga Chinese fishing vessel ay pumasok sa ating territorial sea at pati na sa exclusive economic zone ng Pilipinas. Bilang babala ng Pilipinas sa China, ayon sa Department of Foreign Affairs, ang Pilipinas ay handa na ipatupad ang mga hakbang ng naaayon sa batas sa anumang iligal na mga aktibidad ng pangingisda sa katubigan ng Pilipinas. Isang pagpakita na hindi tayo takot sa China. Ginagawa ng Pilipinas ang lahat ng naaayon sa batas, pero kapag paulit-ulit nilang nilalabag at inaabuso ang teritoryo natin, handa ang Pilipinas na gawin ang nararapat.
Fishing ban that was reported, we want to share the following statement. We do not recognize China's fishing ban. This has been the subject of our diplomatic protests, and we will continue to register our formal opposition to it. It is an illegal exercise of a state authority insofar as they cover the Philippine maritime zones. We urge China to take active measures at their port to prevent its fishing fleets from encroaching into our territorial sea and EEZ. The Philippines is ready to take law enforcement measures on legal fishing activities in its waters.
The Philippines demands that China immediately stop its illegal activities in our maritime zones. The Department of Foreign Affairs is one with the Armed Forces of the Philippines and the Philippine Coast Guard in their pursuit of our shared mandate to protect and uphold our legal maritime entitlements. The DFA is making full use of our diplomatic processes and is exercising all possible action available to us, including the summoning of the Chinese ambassador over this incident. The resupply mission to and the upkeep of the BRP Sierra Madre are legitimate Philippine government activities in our country's exclusive economic zone, which are all in accordance with international law, particularly UNCLOS. As a low tide elevation, Ayungin Shoal can neither be the subject of a sovereign claim, nor is it capable of appropriation under international law, a fact affirmed by the 2016 Arbitral Award. China cannot, therefore, lawfully exercise sovereignty over it. China's illegal exercise of maritime law enforcement powers, interference with the legitimate Philippine rotation and resupply mission, including its aggressive use of water cannon against our vessels, and any other activity that infringes upon our sovereign rights and jurisdiction over Ayungin Shoal are violations of international. Thank you. That ends the DFA statement. Verbal has actually been issued, and it was issued during the summon of the Chinese ambassador by Undersecretary Lazaro this morning. So in terms of statistics, just a while ago, I mentioned in our chat that as of 7 August 2023, we had a certain number. But so as of August 7 now, at 11:30 a.m., the Philippines has filed 445 diplomatic protests since 2020. For 2023, we have filed 35 diplomatic protests. This includes the note verbal hand-delivered during the summoning of the ambassador. Allow me to give more details about the summoning of the ambassador. Yusek Lazaro conveyed to the Chinese ambassador this morning the strong protest of the Philippine government on the blocking and water cannon operation by the Chinese Coast Guard and Chinese maritime militia vessels against Philippine indigenous boats conducting regular rotation and resupply and humanitarian mission to provide food, fuel, and other basic necessities to the Philippine military personnel stationed on the BRP in Sierra Madre on Ayungin Shoal. The blocking and water cannoning incident against and around the Philippine vessels on August 5 lasted for over an hour. The Undersecretary reiterated to the Chinese side that the Ayungin Shoal is a low tide elevation that cannot be appropriated or subjected to sovereignty claims. The final and binding 12 July 2016 award in the South China Sea arbitration expressly stated that Ayungin Shoal is within the exclusive economic zone and continental shelf of the Philippines, over which the Philippines has sovereign rights and jurisdictions. The DFA further called China's attention that its actions are likewise contrary to China's flag state obligation under the 1972 International Regulations for Preventing Collisions at Sea, which requires states to take measures necessary to ensure safety at sea and prevent ship collisions. The CCG vessel's dangerous maneuvers restricted the Philippine vessel's navigational path, thereby increasing the risk of collision in violation of Rules 2, 7, and 8 of COLREGS. The DFA firmly asked China to, 1, direct its vessels to stop their illegal action against Philippine vessels and to stop interfering in legitimate Philippine activities. 2, comply with its obligation under international law, including the 1982 UNCLOS and the 2016 award and the South China Sea arbitration and the 1972 COLREGS, and adhere to its commitments under the DOC. During the summon, the Philippines, through the FAA, also expressed disappointment that the DFA was unable to reach its counterpart through the maritime communication mechanism for several hours while the incident was occurring, and expressed the hope that the Chinese side will reciprocate with the same sense of urgency the communication initiated by the Philippines, as has been demonstrated by the Philippines when receiving communications initiated by the Chinese side. At the same time, I'd also like to inform that as we summoned the ambassador, our ambassador in China, in Beijing, also issued or handed a protest note to the CN Foreign Ministry as of this morning.
Laban Pinas.